Hello, in this video I shall be discussing 5 topics. The first topic is green tax. So green tax is going to be recently announced by or levied by the Ministry of Road Transport. So we shall see about this tax. This tax is going to be levied on old vehicles so that can no more be fit into moving on the natural roads right now. So these old vehicles are going to pay some additional tax apart from the natural tax they need to pay. So that is green tax. So these old vehicles are should be more than 8 years old, and depending on the age of that vehicle they'll be having to pay 10 to 25% of this additional tax. So this has to be paid during fitness renewal certificate. Every vehicle has to undergo this certification of fitness renewing. So during this fitness renewing certification, when the vehicle is found to be older than 8 years, they have to pay this particular tax. So this is how the tax works. The other two names of the tax are pollution tax or environmental tax. So by the name itself we can get these synonyms, that is it is a green tax. In the sense it can also be called as pollution tax or environmental tax. This is a kind of excise duty, an additional excise duty on these vehicles that are environment polluting goods. So that can be tagged as environmentally polluting goods, or that can release environmental pollution. They'll be having to pay this green tax. So there is an exception for this taxation for farming vehicles like harvesters or tractors. So they do not need to pay green tax as they are very useful for the farming and agriculture, and most of them are even older than 8 years, so they don't need to pay. And this green tax there is also a concession over buses for green tax. Though they have to pay it in a lesser percentage. So this is the new green tax that is proposed by the Ministry of Road Transport. The next topic is Bharat Parv. So Bharat Parv is a celebration or a festival kind of organization that is organized by the Ministry of Tourism. So Ministry of Tourism celebrates Bharat Parv. This is an annual event. Since 2016, every year on Republic Day we start this event. So this will last for some days, but the starting date will be on Republic Day. So the first Bharat Parv was celebrated in 2016. It is celebrated, or the whole organization of this is conducted at Red Fort, in front of the ramparts of Red Fort, wherein there will be a lot of showcasing or a lot of opening up of culture of India. So various kinds of things will be put there and showcased that depicts the culture and traditions of rich, diverse India. So this is the main theme of Bharat Parv. And like every year, even this year in 2021, Bharat Parv is celebrated from January 26th, that is our Republic Day, to January 31st. So the theme for 2021 is, apart from showcasing these cultural things, Atmanirbhar Bharat and Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat, these two schemes and the developments brought under these schemes are also going to be showcased in Bharat Parv. They are Atmanirbhar Bharat products and Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat developments. So this is about Bharat Parv. The next topic is green bonds. So green bonds, as the name itself indicates, they are to fund green projects. So to fund these green projects, green bonds are announced, and this is a long back concept. And now recently this is in news, and we shall see why. So these can also be used as debt instruments to raise capital or to raise investments in green energy or green green projects. So some of these examples are to increase renewable energy, clean transportation, sustainable water management. To take up these kinds of projects, these green bonds will be issued by banks, wherein these things can be taken up. For example, renewable energy includes putting up solar panels. Clean transportation may include electric vehicles increasing of their numbers, and sustainable water management can include so many processes in which rainwater can be saved, and watershed placements and all. So such projects all will be taken up through the money generated through green bonds. So there is a recent RBI study, and the study says that the issuing cost of green bonds is very high. In fact, the highest in all the bonds that we give out in India. So why the issuing cost is high? The reason behind it is asymmetric information. So the information at one area and the other area, there is a lot of gap or anomalies or discrepancies in the information. So due to this asymmetric information, the issuing cost has gone very high. So this is according to recent study of RBI, and this is the reason why green bonds have hit headlines recently. The next topic is NMEO. The full form of NMEO is National Mission for Edible Oils. EO stands for edible oils. So there is this National Mission for Edible Oils recently announced by this Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. So Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Ministry has taken up this new mission for increasing the production of edible oils and thereby increasing the oil availability in our country. So we shall see the basic two agendas under which NMEO stands. One agenda is to increase domestic availability of oil. So domestic availability is oil in our own country, to have it completely available to ourselves first. The second thing is to reduce import dependency. Though we are producing oil, we are also majorly depending on imports for the same. So this has to be reduced, and self-sufficiency has to be established in our oil production and dependency. So this is the basic reason for this particular mission for edible oils. And this mission will look to increasing the production of oil, whether it be oil seeds or edible oils. So anyway, whether you can increase the edible oils or you can increase the production of oil seeds, in any way we have to increase the production of oil. This is the basic theme of National Mission for Edible Oil. So this particular mission is going to stand for a span of 5 years. It is proposed for this span. So that is going to be from 2021-22 to 2024-25. So this is the span cited by this Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. And there are also 3 submissions under this particular mission. The 3 submissions speak that the first submission is to increase the production of plantation crops, annual crops, and edible TBOs. So edible TBOs are nothing but tree-borne oil seeds. So some trees will also give out oil, like neem tree. So that is an example of tree-borne oil seeds. So neem tree or any vegetable fats. So these are tree-borne oil seeds. So the first agenda or first mission of submission under this mission is these 3: production increase, and the second submission is increase of oil from rice barn. We know rice barn also produce one oil, some kind of oil, that is rice barn oil. Our cotton seeds will also produce oil, that is cottonseed oil. So to increase their production. And the third submission aims at giving awareness to people. So people has to be given this, educated about this, that there is scarcity of oil, and so that oil is a very rich source of nature. So they have to use it in a sustainable manner. So that is 19 kgs of oil per person per annum. So this has to be the limit of usage of oil. So to bring awareness in people is the third submission. So these are the 3 submissions under NMEO proposed by Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. The last topic for today is M-SAND policy. Here M stands for manufactured sand. M-SAND is manufactured sand. So this M-SAND policy is recently given by the Rajasthan government, that the sand has to be manufactured. That means through crushing of minerals. We know the traditional usage of traditional production of sand is from rivers. So from the rivers we dig out sand, so that is how we get sand. But Rajasthan government has given this new policy of bringing up manufactured sand through crushing of minerals. Minerals in the sense rocks out of minerals. So these rocks will be crushed, they will be brought into fine powder kind of thing, which can be used as sand. So that is the basic agenda of M-SAND policy by Rajasthan. So this from this we don't need to use the sand from banks of the rivers. So river banks or rivers are affected when sand is dug more out of them. So this policy has come up through as another source of sand apart from using rivers alone. So this also enables government to provide sand for all the construction work of the state. The government itself will provide sand under M-SAND policy. This policy is also according to Indian Standards Organization Code 383 of 2016. So Indian Standard Organization Code of 383 speaks about concrete or concrete powder or just a small fine coarse particles of concrete that they can be used for construction work as sand. So this according to this also M-SAND policy satisfies this particular code also. So these are all the 5 topics for today, and thank you.